Let's talk about a skill that, honestly, is becoming a non-negotiable in pretty much every industry: prompt engineering. And no, it's not just for coders or tech wizards. It's really just the art of talking to AI so you get exactly what you need. And today, we're going to break down exactly how you can master it.
So you've probably played around with powerful tools like ChatGPT or Copilot, right? But have you ever had that feeling where it just doesn't get you? You ask for something and what you get back is, well, kind of generic and useless. Here's the thing. The problem probably isn't the AI, it's the prompt.
I mean, just look at the night and day difference here. On the left, write me a report. The AI has no idea what you're talking about. A report on what? For who? How long should it be? But on the right, wow, we've given it a job title, a specific topic, a time frame, and even told it how to format the answer. The results from these two prompts won't just be a little different, they'll be worlds apart.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Why is the gap between a weak prompt and a strong one so huge? It seems pretty simple on the surface, but there is a really fundamental idea at work here. And here's that idea. An AI is basically a mirror. It just reflects the quality of the instructions you give it. If you give it something vague, you're going to get something vague back. But if you give it something clear and detailed, you'll get a clear and detailed result. The real power isn't just in the AI tool itself, it's in how you use it. Okay, so if the AI is a mirror, how do we make sure we're giving it a crystal clear image to reflect? Well, it all comes down to a new mindset. You have to stop thinking like you're just asking a search engine a question and start thinking like a manager who's delegating a task. Seriously, this one mental shift changes everything. And here is the best analogy I've ever heard for this. Think of the AI as a brilliant, super capable intern. This intern is eager, they're smart, they can do pretty much anything you ask, but they have absolutely zero context about your job, your company, or your goals. You're the one who has to provide all of that. Think about it. That intern doesn't know the inside jokes, the unwritten rules, or the fact that your boss absolutely loves when summaries are in bullet points. The AI is exactly the same. It's missing all that specific, nuanced context that you deal with every single day. Your job, as the manager, is to fill in those blanks for it. So before you even type a single word into that prompt box, just run through this quick mental checklist. First, who do you want the AI to be? What's its role? Second, what's the final product you want? Third, what background info is absolutely essential? And finally, how should it look? What's the format? Answering these questions first will completely transform your prompts. All right, let's take that manager mindset and turn it into a super practical tool. We can actually boil all of this down into a simple, easy-to-remember formula that you can use for pretty much every prompt you write. Think of this as your blueprint for getting great results. And here it is, the 5 key ingredients for a perfect prompt. You need a role, a task, context, a format, and some criteria. If you can get these 5 things into your prompt, you're setting yourself up for an amazing result every single time. And here's what that formula looks like in a real-world example. The role is an experienced HR professional. The task? Draft a recruitment email. The context is crucial. It's for internal staff. The format is a complete email under 200 words. And the criteria for a good job, it has to be concise and encouraging. See? Every single piece gives the AI another vital clue to get it right. So now that we have this secret formula, let's flip it around and look at the common traps people fall into. You're about to see that pretty much every bad AI response comes from missing one or more of these 5 golden elements. The biggest mistake, by far, is just being too vague. Make me a report is the perfect example. The solution comes straight from our formula. You've got to define the task, what kind of report. You need to define the format, is it a document, a slide deck? And you have to define the criteria, what makes it a good report. The second huge mistake is forgetting context. Write an email to a customer could mean a million different things. So what's the solution? Provide that critical context. Is this a brand new customer you're welcoming? Or is it a loyal customer who's really upset about something? That information completely changes the entire email.
And finally, there's the mistake of just waiting. You know, hoping the AI will magically read your mind. You have to remember, you can't be a passive observer here. You have to be an active manager. If that first result isn't quite right, don't give up. Refine your prompt. Be even clearer about the role you need it to play and get more specific about the task.
Look, getting good at this isn't just about saving a few minutes on an email. This skill fundamentally upgrades your value as a professional. It actually changes the way you approach your work.
And let's talk about efficiency for a second, because the numbers are kind of staggering. Some studies show that with these skills, you can slash the time you spend on writing tasks by 50 to 70%. That's not a small improvement. As you can see here, that's a total game changer for your workflow.
But the benefits go so much deeper than just raw speed. The act of creating a clear instruction for an AI actually forces you to clarify your own thoughts. Your thinking gets more structured, your communication gets more logical. You start to shift from just doing all the tedious work to directing the work. That's a huge leap.
And this quote really brings it all home. Is probably the most important thing to remember about the future of work. The threat isn't the technology. The real competition is the person who's mastered that technology to become faster, smarter, and way more effective.
So let's end on this one big idea. Prompt engineering isn't really a technical skill. It's a communication skill. It's a new way of thinking, of being clear and structured for a whole new era of work. The only question left is, are you ready to start thinking that way?